Hey, IDS 302, opening this concert with a smoke machine. Sorry about that. I tried to light one up here. It's it's Prensado. Don't panic. It's not inhaling. Okay, so welcome to Module 1, Video 2. Excuse the location. I'm just out on my balcony because I can. It's 72 and my company is right there. Big Sur. Hey, Big Sur, there he is. There's that blue eye, old blue eye. All right, so we went to the vet today, got a couple shots, so a little down in the dumps. Okay, so where are we at? 302. I just did my 301 video, and don't tell anybody, but I really like 302. I like the way it's going, the way it's developing. I've developed it myself based on Tanner's steps, and I really like it. So I did have an organized list here. Let's do some housekeeping first. Grab a broom. No, here's the deal. Okay, so when you send me your Easter eggs, I appreciate it. Here's what I'd like you to do. Tell me which class you're in, 301, 302. Do not need the section number. I don't need your ID number. I just want your name and your section name. If your name is a maiden name or something that differs from your email name and it's not self-evident, I can't find it. I'm sorry. Okay. Um, just give me the Easter eggs. Easter egg 1, Easter egg 2, Easter egg 3. That's it. If you want to write a note to me before or after that, I'm 100% okay with that. Okay, I just want to see the Easter eggs real quick. I want to read your note if there's one. I want to see who it is and what class you're in. Bam, we're done. Okay, don't put it in attachment, etc. Okay. Ooh, Urban Meyer goes to the Jaguars. Sorry if you're not into sports. Okay. Uh, Due dates. These videos I will put out. I used to put out one a week, one a module. It got too much. I decided to break it up so we could talk about certain things in different times during a module. It's not a hard, fast rule when I get them in, but there is no late penalty for videos. I want you to watch them. I put them out before whatever's due is coming up because it wouldn't make sense if I didn't. So you'll be fine with viewing it at your earliest convenience. Obviously, it goes out with a announcement, and those announcements are emails, and it's posted also on the announcement page. Okay, so in terms of the response so far, it looks pretty good. There's only a couple of people who haven't really done anything yet. All right, I want to point out, which I should have told 301. I'll have to copy and tell them later. Make sure you do your quizzes on time. Quizzes do not have any late penalty. They need to be done immediately. I mean, by the due date, okay? They need to be done by the due date. There is no grace period on quizzes. After it's done, it shuts off, okay? Let's keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind in paragraphs and in paragraph indents. Those of you who have me 301, you know how fanatical I am about paragraph indents. Especially in the papers, you're going to be writing papers, paragraph indents are really important. Okay, on a discussion board, if we have them, when we have them, you can use a line gap there because the discussion boards don't lend themselves to indents as quite as well as a Word doc does, right? So keep that in mind. Also, those of you that had me before and those of you haven't, remember, capitalize the disciplines. In an interdisciplinary environment and a disciplinary environment, which is an academic scholarly environment, the disciplines are proper nouns. They're important. Okay, they're individual silos of learning. So you got history, you got communication, you got business, you got anthropology, you got this. Capitalize those. When you're using them as disciplines, you capitalize those. So when I see them in your writing, if you're talking about your concentrations in any way, shape, or form, as academic disciplines, you capitalize them. Okay, all right. So, for example, let's say you're taking music as one of your concentrations. Music, when you write, it's capital M. But if you're talking about your intro, I really like Fleetwood Mac's music. That's lowercase, right? Nobody knows what Fleetwood Mac. Well, maybe you do because of the Cranberry guy, right? TikTok. So, okay, so you want to capitalize disciplines. Then I want to make sure you know that I go to bed early. I rarely reply to emails after 7. And I never reply to them after 8 typically, okay? Just life. I'm still getting up with this baby twice a night. God, feels like I have kids again. Okay, so we got that going. Let's talk about Easter egg number 1 right away, real quick. It's an important one. I want you to remember this. Capitalize the disciplines. Now, some people just capitalize the word discipline. You don't capitalize the word discipline because the word discipline is not a discipline. The discipline of history is a discipline. It's history. It's the only thing I want capitalized, okay? We'll get the hang of it, all right? Okay, so let's go to learning materials for Module 1, and we will see that there is a disciplinary pyramid and a disciplinary approaches PDFs in there that you can download as attachments. And I want you to be careful in all right, let's see. Okay, so this is the interdisciplinary pyramid. You're going to see this by pulling it up, and you'll see the same thing. And at the bottom, a single discipline. These are all approaches, you know, looking at things from a single discipline. Okay, you've got your degree in history. It's great, single discipline. Okay, or you're doing a research project and you are studying the Black Lives Matter movement. And so you're using a single discipline, and that discipline happens to be African American studies. So there you go. That's good. Then you got cross-disciplinary. That's a tricky one. That's using one discipline to see through, analyze another. So let's talk about the mathematics of music, right? Because we talk about, so that's cross-disciplinary. It's kind of going through, okay? Then you've got multidisciplinary. Let's go back to Black Lives Matter and look at it from African American studies and sociology. There's two disciplines, as long as it's two. It could be sociology, it could be economics, it could be this, but those are multidisciplines. That's multidisciplinary, okay? Interdisciplinary, hey, that's us, right? So it's like multidisciplinary, except what's the difference? Integration. So you can take that Black Lives Matter and you're analyzing it through a lens of African American studies, sociology, economics, culture studies, American culture, whatever. You're integrating though. If you're not integrating, that means they're butting up against each other. Nothing wrong with that. That means just multiple disciplines. You're not tasked with integrating. But integration is a different thing. We're going to be learning more about that as the course moves on. But that's the crucial difference. Transdisciplinary, though, that is, trans means to go beyond. So we're talking about going beyond the disciplines, right? And that would be a project, let's say, again, you were doing a research project on Black Lives Matter, but you're going to, besides these disciplines, you're going to go beyond the disciplines to some of the stakeholders. In that case, you're going to talk about some of the activists, bring those in, some of the business owners in areas that where protests took place. You're going to bring in a number of people who are not typically they're not academics. Clergy. Here's a good distinction I always want to remind people. Clergy is not religious studies. Religious studies is something separate. Clergy is different. Political studies is different than your congressman. Okay, disciplines are not occupations. Okay, you could definitely be a senator without being a political science major. Okay, all right. So just think of that. Look at that. Then you've got what we call the approaches, which is a different way of looking at it. I just talked about. Okay, so this is the problem and the discipline. Discipline to the problem. That's intradisciplinary. Intra, one. Here's cross-disciplinary. Discipline through a discipline to the problem. Here's multidiscipline. All these three disciplines. Here's interdisciplinary. It's either merging or integrating before that. Transdisciplinary is all out there. It's problem-centered, and the disciplines and the stakeholders hold themselves. Good ways to use imagery to help you understand what's going on. I'm hoping a lot of you might have got this in 301, and this is just a refresher because that gives you a step ahead. In terms of the readings, I want you to read the introduction, which is about 6 pages, chapter 1, which is about 11 pages, chapter 2, which is about 8 pages. So that's like 25 pages. You got this, okay? It's good stuff. I want you to read it, highlight it, use it, what you have to do. If you have questions about it, let me know. I'm not going to go through it here because there's typically not time. But I will say that there's a quiz. There's a quiz, and there's stuff in here from the quiz. So you want to really assimilate that information. Assimilate. Okay, so God, I want to have my cigar over there. Okay, IDS 401 info. If you haven't done yours yet or talked about it or thought about it, set it up. We got a page dedicated to that. Click on it. Go take a look at your IDS 401. Did I do Easter egg number 1 already? Capitalized disciplines? I hope I did. I think I did. If I didn't, I'm doing it now. Capitalized disciplines. Okay, so Oh no, let's go back to IDS 302 instead of 301. Okay, got that. I also want, okay, we're going to go into, there should be a page here. Okay, there's Purdue OWL formatting. We're going to get into formatting more later. I don't want you to stress formatting. I do a very basic version of it, but it does follow a particular protocol that I feel is important, okay? It's like it's about curb appeal on your paper. When you realtors know this, try looking for houses, you got curb appeal. Wow, it looks so good. That's how we need to look at your paper. Research papers are very organized, okay? So we're going to talk about that more, but familiarize yourself with Purdue OWL format page there, what have you. Then I want you to note, wait, Tanner's 5 steps. Why isn't it in here? I guess it's going to come up later. It's in page 34, which is chapter 3. All right, I'm going to, if you get a chance, you go to page 34. Well, Tanner's 5 steps, because we're going to be using those for this course, but we'll get into it more, I guess, next week. Your musical introduction. Thing I want to say about discussion boards or whatever, if there's a minimum word count, like the discussion board at 250 word minimum for the post, 2 responses, 150 word minimum. If you don't do the minimum, if you don't do the minimum, you're gonna get really docked, right? If you do just the minimum, or close to minimum by going over it a little bit, you're gonna get 70% of the grade because it's the minimum, right? So the minimum to pass, you did the minimum work. I need room to reward those who go beyond and really analyze things and really want to get into it. This is where it's important that you know that doing the minimum equals 70% of the grade. And that is Easter egg number 2. Doing the minimum equals 70%. I want you to be aware of that, okay? Gives people room to excel, right? People get enough to pass that want to pass. People get room to excel that need to excel. All right? Okay, so formatting we'll talk about more as we get to the papers and what's expected. I'll make it very specifically clear. No need to be intimidated about it. Trust me, you're gonna like this project you're doing. You are. The musical intro is due on the 15th. The quiz 1 is due on the 17th. Please get it in. That's Sunday before midnight, and it's shutting off. And then I think that is the information I had. So I want to give you, do the readings, okay? Do the quiz. But I do want to talk to you as we get into this, again, what this whole course looks like, okay? If I tell you what you're going to do right now, you're going to go like, oh my God, I can't write a 25-page paper in 6.5 weeks. And I'm going to say, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Because you're not going to do it all at once. It may not be 25 anyways. We got 5 steps to Tanner's 5 steps of integration, okay? You're doing one step at a time. They're all very doable, all of them. And when you add it up at the very end, then you got a cover page and a table of contents and step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and you got a bibliography and you got an appendix. Trust me, adds up really fast. Don't be intimidated. You're going to use this as a source of pride going forward. I just did a wonderful Zoom meeting today with a former student from last spring who took my 302, and she's asking me to do a letter of recommendation for her to get into law school. I'm like, holy crap, look at me. I'm recommending somebody for law school. I was really humbled by that, but we had never met, and so she really wanted to, talk about some things, and it was great. And, she was impressed upon me how much she loved this course and got so much out of it. It helped her believe that law school was something she could take on. So I'm really happy about that and humbled by that. My point being, somebody was back. Okay, my point being is that I want you to recognize this course as a great stepping stone into feeling like the academic scholar that you are, and that you'll be able to use this going forward, and it should be something you'll be very proud of. But I think I've said that enough already, right? I just watch, see if the numbers drop. People are dropping out. Hey, I got to get out of this course right now. No, you don't. Okay, so I went 22 minutes for 301. So what are we missing in 302 that I haven't talked about? Let's see. I think that's about it. So let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns. I'm getting them already, and they've been very beneficial. Uh, Thanks to your peer Jessica, we have the first quiz fixed, and I appreciate that immensely. And so I do reward the pain and suffering that goes with helping me. But sometimes courses transferred and things get glitched, and I don't know about it unless somebody tells me. I'm just going to tell you a little story about being, for example, about that. I sat in a class last year at this time on my face-to-face class, probably early February, and I was doing a lecture in the class, I had the screen up, and there's something going on. There was a video I had playing, and I'm doing some work, and I'm seeing a video here and on my screen on my laptop, and I'm looking up, and students are just not watching. I'm like, what the heck? Not even watching this video, and I'm looking and I look up and I'm watching it, and I lean way over, and the screen's black. I didn't have the screen turned on, the projector turned on. But nobody out of 22 students would tell me, hey, it's not on. That was an indictment against the generation. And I stick up for the young generation all the time with my old friends. Oh, kids these days. I go, shut up, kids these days. They got to handle this baby right here. Nobody does that. We couldn't have done that when we were young. Anyhow, talk about me babbling. Okay, that's it, I think. I usually come up with some gems to talk about in terms of things I see online with this course, things I see in terms of research to help you understand and do like the analogy of what you're doing compared to what others have done. Because you're going to come out of this course as an experienced researcher, okay, in one area and one method, but you're going to have enough foundation there that you never have to do it again, or it might come up. All right. So let's end it with Easter egg number 3, which is an oldie but a goodie. IDS equals integration. IDS equals integration. Easter egg number 3. I want you to remember to on your email to put your 302 on there. If you're 302, I want you to put your name, especially if you have like a maiden name that was changed, it was the same name. I need a name, and then your 3 Easter eggs, and then any other kind of note, but you don't have to put an attachment. You don't have to give me your student ID, things like that. You don't have to give me the section number. Just give me the course, 302. Okay? That's it. Forks up. Peace.